When I was in high school, I wanted nothing more than to be a chemist. I excelled in Chemistry 1 and 2 in high school, and I theorized and did experiments on my own. I remember having a watertight box out in the woods with a bunch of household chemicals and some industrial chemicals I gathered from various sources. I pored through my chemistry textbooks looking for ways to make things. My dad had a Merrick manual, which is a list of pretty much all the known chemical compounds of the time, and a book of old-fashioned ways of making things like fireworks and useful compounds. Sadly, and fortunately for my safety, I did not have the chemicals needed to make the fireworks, so armed with these books, I tried to synthesize chemicals using household chemicals I had. What I would do is write up stoichiometric equations using my household chemicals in an attempt to make these base chemicals. Here's an example. If you only know high school chemistry, this formula is perfect. Just using household ammonia and hydrogen peroxide, you should be able to make dilute nitric acid. Equal amounts of nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen exist on each side. However, when I put similar chemical reactions into practice, they just came up as duds. It's been 15 years since I tried this, so I can't even remember what reactions I tried, but this is just an example. I'm very glad I was outside, as they could have produced dangerous fumes. I never actually did this experiment, as it would have been really dilute and I didn't know how to distill, so it would have been useless even if it had worked at the time. So why was it a dud? It wasn't until I went to college that I realized I really didn't know anything about chemistry. This reaction didn't work for several reasons I had never been taught. Number one, calculating energy states. A reaction must go from high energy to a low energy state. To do this, careful calculation and the correct catalyst is needed. Shape is everything in chemistry. A reaction's energy potential is determined by the shape of a molecule, and depending on the shape, other parts of the molecule may have a more favorable reaction than the spot you were wanting. Chemistry is messy. I didn't realize that in chemistry there are partial reactions that occur, and if not under the right circumstances of pressure, temperature, or catalyst, without contamination, there would be a wide range of variations of chemicals that occur all at once, leaving the sample contaminated with several different versions of the same empirical chemical, or at least a mix of the final mean empirical formula. What I was doing in high school was akin to alchemy. I treated my limited books as magic tomes, but they were only there to prepare me for an explosion of knowledge that was yet to come. So why do I discuss this? Well, at the same time I was trying these experiments, I believed in creation science, and nothing my high school biology textbook said would convince me that evolution was real. Just my Bible, my textbook, and my creation science books, whose knowledge levels are akin to or lower than a high school biology textbook, backed me up on this. It's not that my logic was wrong, my knowledge was just lacking. I ended up getting just a minor in chemistry. The calculus was way too hard, but I really liked the microbiology class I took. So I switched majors, and my knowledge of the world of life around me exploded, just like my knowledge of chemistry exploded when I took the college class. Thanks to my understanding of chaos theory and statistics I gathered in the nuclear navy, I began realizing just how worthless my creationist arguments had been. Not that they were illogical for the time, they were just severely deficient in knowledge. Any time you try to be an expert on a science with only an introductory or even a few low-level classes, you will always end up with bad hypotheses. The level of knowledge needed is just too high. My point is that creationists never use real arguments that actually involve real research, because if they did, they would realize that the arguments they make have been disproven many times over. And why not? Because it's not their field of study. They don't put the years of study into learning about it, and that's okay. But I don't try and tell a chemist or a physicist that they're wrong, because I don't know enough, and I won't be putting the time and energy into it to allow me to do so. Life is just too short. Biology seems to be subject to different rules of armchair scrutiny, though, because it goes against holy books. The phenomena is what I refer to as Beavis and Butthead logic. If you ever watch the show, they try and actually succeed at rationalizing something in life with logic, but they end up missing the point completely due to a lack of knowledge. So make sure you have all the facts before trying to argue with an expert, or you will end up looking like a butthead.
Whoa. I got it, Beavis. We should, evolve?
Why?
Because we need to evolve into dudes who score.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna evolve a bigger wiener.
Yeah. Evolution is accomplished over millions of years through the repeated passing along of genetic material.
What?
In fact, it took our ancestors literally millions of years to begin walking upright and foraging for food. What a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah, really.